What's up, y'all? It's your girl Vonnie with the Get Down, and we are back with another video. If you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with anyone and everyone that you know. Today, y'all, from the title of the video, we are doing the Lions and Rams wild card weekend recap game. So we're gonna get into it. And this was another good game that was on the books that a lot of people really did enjoy watching. A lot of people talked about it. This was another high rating game that was going to be shown. So you got Matthew Stafford, you got Jared Goff. Both of them are former players of actually both teams, which is crazy to actually think you're playing against a quarterback that used to be on your old team versus a quarterback that used to be on your other old team. So both of them were facing former teams. You got Dan Campbell. This is the first time in the playoffs, very first time being the coach of the Lions. And I mean, they had a pretty good season to end them in the 12-5 rank. I mean, great. They ended as number 3 as a seed in the NFC side. And I mean, like I said, overall, they had a very great season. So we're going to share this article and get into some facts of everything that took place of the game. All right, y'all. So the title of this article, Jared Goff leads Lions in revenge win over Rams. Like I said, both quarterbacks were facing their old team. And on top of that, Detroit has not went to the playoffs since 1991. That's been over 20 years, about 20 plus years. It's been a minute. So with the game last night, it was a lot of pressure on them. They wanted to make a statement in the town like, hey, we're here. We're on the big stage tonight. We're finna make it happen. And we're going to bring this city a first championship win because that's what they were looking for. They haven't won in the longest. They actually have the longest active drought without winning in the playoffs in NFL history. So they did their thing with actually being able to get this far to not only be in the playoffs and to actually win. So they did win 24-23, only by 1 point, but it's okay. It's okay. You do want to try to make a statement when you win by a larger amount and bigger points, but they were able to pull the win out, which was very great. Let's read a little bit of the article. Detroit, led by quarterback Jared Goff. The Detroit Lions nabbed their first home playoff win since 1991 with a 24-23 win over the Los Angeles Rams at Ford Field. Sunday's wild card round win came at the expense of former Lions, now Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford and his return to Detroit. Both teams came out firing in the first half, with the Lions carrying a 21-17 lead into the half. And when I was watching the game, I mean, y'all can hear the boos, the boo. Like, you can hear the fans saying it. You can hear them screaming. And typically that's what's going to happen. You leave an old team or a team that you was with for the longest that you, got drafted by when you were coming into the NFL, you know, you end up facing your old team that you didn't do nothing with. You couldn't push them further to the playoffs. You couldn't get them maybe a ring. And that can feel some type of way when you have to go into the playoffs and face that former team that you usually that you are now playing, and you get all the boos and people don't like you and they're throwing stuff at you. And this is what was happening yesterday. And Matthew Stafford, he's been with Detroit. He already did his days with them. That's why his time came to an end. And they actually showed Calvin Johnson hugging him and in honor, respect for the days that they both used to play with each other. That was his number one receiver when he did play with him. So, I don't think Matthew Stafford really let that bother him too much. At the end of the day, that is their job to go out there and play. But people were booing him. I seen it and I heard the fans. They were booing him. And I can understand because you were with Detroit and you couldn't push them further. But now you're going into a new city with a head coach that is young, just as you, and y'all get all the way to the Super Bowl and you win the Super Bowl. So being back in Detroit for a playoff game versus Jared Goff, that used to be with the Rams, and he didn't give them a ring, but now he's with Detroit, so he's trying to do something different. You can see why the people were booing to their extent. Let's read a little bit more. For the first time in 3 decades, the Lions hosted a home playoff game in Detroit, and the sold-out atmosphere was electric. With the plethora of ex-players and celebrities cheering them on, the Lions held off the Rams to end the NFL's longest active playoff victory drought. They hadn't won a playoff game since defeating the Dallas Cowboys in the 1991 divisional round. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute. And for Jared Goff to come out, for them to actually get the win, even though it was by 1 point, for them to come out and get the win, this was a very great moment for him. I can see and wonder only how he's feeling, because just to know the history of a city and how long it's been since that team has been in a playoff or has just even made it that far, you hear the history facts of it and you try to put it in your mind. Okay, I want to try to succeed. I want to try to get past this point to where we are in the playoffs now. I want the city to be cheerful and not be down or be sad anymore, to know that their team and their city is actually on the come and they're actually on the rise. So Jared Goff had an amazing year. Matthew Stafford had an amazing year. He's a good player too. It's nothing against the Rams, but Detroit, they really wasn't feeling it last night when he came in there to play. And like I said, you're gonna hear boos. You're gonna hear all the boos. You're gonna hear the negative say-sos. But he came in there and he did his job at the end of the day, and that's what actually matters. So let's try to pull up some stats for you guys. Okay, so for Detroit Lions, their passing yard was 255 yards. The Rams had 357 yards. The rushing yards, the Rams had 68 yards. The Lions had 79 yards. And the total yards for the Rams was 425. Total yards for the Lions was 334 yards. So, like I said, Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff, they both had something to prove while being at this game. But the Lions were able to pull off the win, and I am 3-0. 3-0. I did choose them to win. I didn't really choose how many points they were by, but I did choose the Lions to win this game, and they actually got it done. Some stats from Matthew Stafford. He was 25 of 36 for 367 yards and 2 touchdown passes, no interception. Jared Goff was 22 of 27 for 277 yards and 1 touchdown pass. So both quarterbacks that night, they had a clean slate. Nobody threw an interception. Rivers, he had a good night. Kay Williams had a good night. Montgomery had a good night. Gibbs had a good night. And Puka Nacua, he had a good night too, for 10 targets, 9 receptions, 181 yards, y'all, for 1 touchdown. So he did his thing. And Amari St. Brown, 9 targets, 7 receptions for 110 yards in that game. But the Lions, they won it at the end. Like I said, I am 3-0. I did choose them to win this game, and they actually got it done. So Detroit is moving on, with the exception of bringing the city at another playoff home game. So it was incredible what they did. Both quarterbacks, they played up to the levels that they could, but the Lions were able to pull out that win at home. So kudos to them. And further with this organization, with what Dan Campbell is going to do, much appreciation to him. It's his first year. Let's see where this journey is going to take him and how long he will be with this organization. And hopefully nothing changes in the future for him. They will be on a roll. So every year a team can either upgrade or they can downgrade. So and that can also include with getting rid of people or bringing people in. So I'm excited to see what this organization is going to do further in the future. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all thought of this game. Was it too close of a game? Should it have been more points? Who did you think really should have won? Were you in favor of the Lions? Were you in favor of the Rams? Or again, it didn't matter who really won the game because your team is not in the playoffs. Hey, Detroit was favored in this game, and I did choose them to win. So they did get it done. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this video. Talk back. Give me all kind of feedback. So I will see you guys in the next video. Always stay blessed. Stay prayed up.